Welcome to Manawaker Studios Flash Fiction Podcast. I'm C.B. Droege. This week, Peaceandquiet Pancake by Goodwin. I settle Dad into one of the few chairs with armrests and ask if he'd like me to fetch him a magazine. He shakes his head almost before I've finished speaking. It's his standard response these days. If in doubt, say no. The street door opens and a couple come in with a little girl. They've not yet sat down when the buzzer goes off and the screen flashes above the reception desk. Mrs. Tracy Palmer to Dr. Aziz, room 5. The woman shoulders her bag and sidles out. The little girl scurries across to the huddle of toys in the corner, and the man flops onto a seat nearby. He's wearing a red football top with a name on the back and the figure 11. I could pretend I think he's the real Mo Salah and ask him for his autograph, but all I've got to write on is Dad's repeat prescription form. I could ask Dad about Liverpool's prospects this season, but he's turned off his hearing aid against the jangling muzak, and me. The little girl shuffles pans on the hob of a red plastic cooker. She has a shock of curly hair that's almost too big for her, like crystal tips from long ago children's TV. She turns to her dad, a wide grin revealing the gap in her front teeth. "What do you want?" Beside me, my dad's breath rattles in his chest. Mo Salah says nothing. "Do you want tea?" "No." "Coffee?" "No." "Pancakes?" "No." No warmth, no manners, but no anger or irritation either. His gaze fixed on an empty space midway between the reception and his daughter. So secure in his refusal, he needn't even feign absorption in his phone or the small ads in the local rag. "What do you want then?" What indeed? I steal a glance at Dad. Thankfully, his eyes are closed. It would be embarrassing to witness this together. Take me back to being a teenager, squirming between her parents at a sex scene on TV. "Peace and quiet," says Mo Salah. In one smooth movement, Crystal Tips returns to her pots and pans. Her smile doesn't waver, like a prima ballerina programmed not to notice the pain in her toes. She stirs the air in a yellow frying pan with a wooden spoon. I could tell her I'd love a pancake, and tea, and coffee too. But it's her dad she wants to feed, not me. He sits, immobile, betraying no interest in his child, his mind perhaps on bigger problems, his wife's diagnosis, unpaid bills, concerns we couldn't dream of, his little girl and me. Dad makes a noise midway between a cough and a burp. His wrists are twigs jutting out from his frayed shirt cuffs, and there's a cluster of bristles under his chin. People will judge me for it, but I can't make him more presentable if he won't let me. Crystal Tips holds out a blue plastic plate to her dad. My stomach clenches. "What's this?" "Peaceandquiet Pancake." Who could resist such ingenuity? Who could resist that smile? Staring into space, Mo Salah keeps his hands by his side, as if his daughter doesn't register at all. Whatever his worries, surely he could find room for an imaginary pancake. Surely yes would be less trouble than no. Crystal Tips returns the plastic plate to the toy box. She packs away the wooden spoon and pans, spirits away her feelings with the toys. How many real pancakes will she have to rustle up before she makes sense of this moment? How many squirts of lemon juice How many spoons of sprinkled sugar before she's assured it's not her fault? It might take until she's middle-aged and watching another little girl fail to charm her father for her to truly understand. By then, it will be too late to make him eat her peace and quiet pancake, too late to tower over him, forcing him to swallow every cold, rubbery bite. Her father will be too old and fragile, his hands too unsteady to hold the plate, his gums too delicate to chew. Dad's head jerks forward as the buzzer summons him from his doze. The screen reads, Mr. Herbert Grayson to Dr. O'Callahan, room 4. Mustn't keep the doctor waiting, says Dad. Fixing my smile, I rise from my seat. I offer Dad my arm, but he shakes his head, pushes against the armrests, and, little by little, shuffles to his feet. This has been Peace and Quiet Pancake, written by Anne Goodwin. Manawaker Studios Flash Fiction Podcast is supported by patrons on Patreon. Visit patreon.com/Manawaker to find out more. The Flash Fiction Podcast theme song is by Kevin MacLeod. Manawaker Studios Director of Dice is Ben Baston. The podcast is produced, edited, and narrated by me, CB Droege. You can follow me on Twitter at CBDROEGE. Thanks for listening. On the next installment of Flash Fiction Podcast, live the last of your dreams surrounded by loved ones in your paradise of choice. Enjoy immersive environment technology formerly inaccessible to all but the elite